I have to say, I'm very disappointed in this film and how it just shamelessly promotes its product. Not like the cartoons I had as a child, Transformers, He-Man, and G.I. Joe, thank you very much. Those were simple, honest, good cartoons, only here to deliver a message. And no, I haven't gone back and watched them again. Why do you ask? There you go. That was a long-ass bit, but I got through it.
You got through it, yay!
Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
And I'm Michelle.
Somebody out there did not get that opening joke. What do you mean? G.I. Joe was just trying to sell an action figure that existed long before? Yes, that was the entire point of the... I'm pointing out the hypocrisy of everyone in my age range who complains about the Lego movie just being a commercial for Legos. Because unlike the cartoons I grew up with, this is actually a smart commercial with a well-written story behind it.
It's self-aware.
It kind of is. There's only one moment in this movie where I looked at and I was like, that seems a little too much like you're just trying to promote. It was the moment in which they were all racing out there on their vehicles and they were all chanting, custom vehicles, custom vehicles. It's like, yeah, okay, man, let's. Which that came early in the film, so that kind of made me go, oh, no. Oh, it's not going to be this for the rest of the film. And it wasn't.
No.
It was good. It was good after that. After that, it just became the first Lego movie again. Mm-hmm. Which, here's the thing. We really love the first Lego movie. The first Lego movie is great. So it's okay if you just kind of do that again. If they did a third one of these and it was kind of just this all over again, I might start to go, all right, hold on a little bit.
Yeah, well, like, the thing is, like... The first movie kind of, like, left on, like, a note that there was a possibility of a sequel.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it felt more like a joke. Like,
it did feel like a joke.
Wouldn't it be silly if we came back and did this? And it's like, oh, shoot, he wants to come back and do that? Okay. All right, sure.
But it's like, the thing is, I don't think there will be another sequel, but I do think there will be more Lego movies.
Yeah, like
because
that.
There was Lego Batman. There was
the Lego Ninjago film.
Yeah, which I didn't see, but...
That one I heard was not that good, actually.
Yeah. It was obviously based off the cartoon series, so I'm guessing like diehard fans of that would like it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I heard. Like, people who like the cartoon like the movie. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm kind of good with no more Lego films. Because I'll be totally honest with you guys, I didn't even care for Lego Batman all that much. I know that is hearsay. I know everybody out there is going to... What? Aren't you a big comic book fan? It's like, yeah, but I need more than people just saying, remember this from the comics? I was like, yeah, okay, great, that's wonderful, super. Yeah, so I'm honestly just kind of really only interested in these main Lego films.
Yeah.
And I still really love this one.
Yeah.
I still think that this is a great film. And what makes that more impressive is that this was kind of an experiment for me. Because... when the first Lego film came out, everybody was saying, man, this is one of the best movies of the year, best animated film of the year. People were talking about how it should have been nominated for Best Picture, and then it didn't even get nominated for Best Animated Film, which, yeah,
honestly,
the Oscars are out of their fucking minds.
And ironically, this year they're nominating Spider-Verse, so...
Yeah, that seems like almost an apology letter. It's like, no, we can acknowledge cool things, too, that are different, right? Written by Phil Lord, right? We can do that. But I honestly think that the main reason why people love that first one so much, don't get me wrong, it was incredibly witty, had a great sense of humor to it, but I think the thing that really made people love that first film was the twist.
Yeah.
Like, I remember everybody who saw that film, when it got to the twist, they were, like, knocked on their ass. Like,
yeah.
What? This is what? No! So this was an interesting experiment because I was like, all right, the same people are making this one, same characters, same sense of humor, but we now all know that this twist exists.
Yeah.
Which, let's go ahead. If you have not seen the first Lego movie, just tune out now. I'm sorry, folks. Because you have to talk about the twist from the first one to talk about this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is a sequel after all,
yeah.
So...
in the first one, you're watching it and, you know, it's starring this average guy and it's like, no, you're the guy who, he can build something special, but then there's Lord Business, who's this guy who wants everything to be the same and not moved and everything in the exact right order. And it's like, okay, so it's this thing about, like, creativity versus, like, you know, one-dimensionalism. It's creativity versus rigidness and a lack of creativity. So, okay, I get what you're going for. But then all of a sudden at one point, like, what's his name? Emmett. He gets, like, knocked off of the like world, and all of a sudden he's off of a table, and he's just a little Lego figure, and then this little kid picks him up and starts playing with him, and then the dad, played by Will Ferrell, who played Lord Business in the film, comes down like, no, this is my collection. You're not allowed to play with. But aren't they toys? No. Yes, they're toys, but they're collectible toys, which are meant to be kept in the exact order. And it's like, oh my God, that's what this is all about? And it makes you look back at the entire film. It's like, everything that was going on in here was a little kid, like, trying to deal with his dad being, like, too rigid and not having time to play with him. You're like, oh my goodness. I didn't think that's where we were going with this. Wow. So when you go to this next one, you know, okay, all this is happening inside of a kid's head. All this is some kid's imagination, and everything in here is kind of meant to be a metaphor for something else. And at the end of the last one, it ended with the dad going, well, now that you can come down here and play, you know who else gets to come down and play? Your sister. And then it ends with the little kiddie versions of Legos.
Yeah, Duplo.
Duplo. Like little monsters made out of Duplos coming down. It's like, we are here to destroy you. And that's what this is. It's now 5 years later, which I did not realize it had been 5 years since the first Lego film.
Has it? Or like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Which, yeah, I did not realize it had been that long. But then when you stop and think about it, it's like, well, then they did Lego Batman. They did the Lego Ninjago film. They did this one. So that's 3 years. And I guarantee you there's a couple years where we just did get a Lego movie in there. So, yeah, man, 5 years. Wow, okay. So, now it's 5 years later. And now the big, happy, shiny Funland, it's now a dystopian world where everything's destroyed. And what's her name? Wildstyle?
Yeah.
Yeah, she...
Or like her original name is Lucy, if you want to...
Right, yeah, Lucy. She is...
Spoilers for the first movie again, but...
she's dark and gray and talking about like, no, we can never go back to the fun world that we had before. But Emmett is still like, oh, hey, everybody, it's still the fun world, where everyone from that first film is still in here, but now they're the post-apocalyptic versions of them.
Yeah, because the Duplo toys kept destroying them.
Yeah, kept destroying everything. But, again, this is a very interesting film, because in the first one, you had no idea what the twist was. In this one, you know this is all a metaphor going on inside some kid's head. There's even a moment late in this film where they actually break the fourth wall in this one, and actually say, this is all just some metaphor happening in the subconscious of some preteen child. And I was like, oh shit. Wow, this film really got deep here. But because you know that this is all just something going on in some kid's head, and now so many years have gone by, it's like, this is a kid who he's now in that, like, edgy phase. He's now growing up, and Legos and bright and happy stuff is lame, and he doesn't want any part of this anymore. It's like, okay, I get what it is. But, like, the sister, like, still wants to play with him. Like, it's pretty obvious what, I'm not gonna say what the twist is in here, but what the message is in here. Like, you are able this time around to read it as you go. So there isn't really that big, like, extra layer to all of this.
Yeah, it's once you find out about the twist in the first movie, you can't exactly go back.
It's kind of like when somebody tells you that there's an ingredient in a food that you're eating, you now can only taste that ingredient. It's like, oh yeah, oh god, I can't not taste the vanilla in this anymore. So, yeah, it doesn't have that big reveal punch to it. But it still makes it a very interesting film because you're able to now interpret it as you go, but it's not just the interpretation. The sense of humor from the first one is still here, which I didn't think that Phil Lord was still working on this one. Apparently he was. When his name popped up in the like throughout this entire film, I was like, man, whoever they got to like cover for Phil Lord really can capture Phil Lord's sense of humor. Then his name popped up in the credits. I was like, oh, it was Phil Lord. Oh, okay, that's who it was. Yeah, because if you like the sense of humor in the first one, this is literally just that all over again. It's not as in like they repeat jokes, but it's the same style of humor.
It's the same style, yes.
Which, yeah, that's exactly what you want out of this type of movie.
Yes, I guess I'm kind of like disappointed at like some of the puns because they broke the fourth wall, like the Stairgate instead of Stargate.
That was another, that was one problem that I kind of did have with
this. In the first movie, there was like this, you had to worry about the Craggle. And you did not know what that was. You just knew it was something bad. And it was revealed, once the twist was revealed, that Craggle was crazy glue, but with some of the letters scratched off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, that's clever. But then...
But in this one, like, every single time that they're like, oh my god, unless we stop this, we'll cause a Mamageddon. And I was like, Mom, okay, well, the dad was the character in the first one, now the mom's gonna be the one.
Like,
okay,
and it's like, oh, they've been kidnapped and taken to the Sistar universe. Oh, Sisters.
Sisters, yeah, the Sister Took the Toys, yeah.
So it's like, it's not as good, but it's not enough to, like, for me to, like, knock it down a grade or anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, a little bit of the charm from the first one is gone when it comes to that particular area of this, but I still think that when it comes to the characters in here, I think they're still all really great. They didn't do what I was afraid they were going to do, where they would rest too much on, it's that thing from the first movie. They didn't really do that in here. It doesn't feel like they're coming in here and going, hey everybody, Unikitty is back. It feels more of like, hey man, we're here with Unikitty again. All right, that's kind of cool. Which, that was one of the weirdest changes that they made in here, because everything is now the post-apocalyptic version. Unikitty is like, what the hell is that big cat that He-Man rode around on? Like, Battle Cat.
Yes.
Yeah, like, it's now, like, Unikitty will, like, transform into, like, this giant beast.
Yeah, well, like, in the first movie, whenever she would get angry, she would just snap and go into, like, rage mode. So, like, she just basically remained in rage mode during the apocalyptic world, so...
Yeah, and it's, man... I'm not going to say it's a bad thing, but it is kind of jarring just to constantly keep watching that throughout this. But not in a bad way. I mean, that's what it's supposed to feel like.
Yeah, it's like, like, this is how things are. You have to change. That's literally what Wildstyle said to Emmett. It's like, you can't be happy and cheerful anymore. You gotta toughen up.
And that is kind of what... There's a lot of messages going on.
There is.
In the first one, there was really only, like, that main one message.
Yeah.
In this one, there's several in here, because it's the relationship between a brother and his sister... it's growing up, it's, optimism versus jadedness. There's so much.
Yeah, it's like there's also like a message against toxic masculinity, I feel
I honestly, I got that feeling in here too.
Yes.
Maybe it's just because that's in the news a lot these days and everybody's kind of talking about finally, but I do feel like that's a little bit in here as well. So yeah, I do think that this film, while, man... It's so hard comparing it to the first one, because that first one, it's got the reveal, and you can't do a reveal twice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do have to applaud this one more for the fact that now, it seems like they realize that now that we all know that reveal, it was like, well, then let's load even more messages in here. Let's just put as much in here as we can. But it never feels like too much.
No.
It feels like all these messages kind of fit together.
Yeah, they do in a way.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's a flashback at one point to, like, the brother and the sister did actually play together at one point in time. And and the fact that now the brother doesn't want to play with the sister, it now kind of plays into that feeling of, yeah, I'm getting older and I don't have time for this kiddie stuff anymore. I'm going to play with my post-apocalyptic Mad Max Legos over here. It's like... You still don't see... alright, fine, yeah, cool. Legos can be hardcore, whatever, kid. Now that I'm coming in here and trying to shame anyone who plays with Legos, I'm just saying, like, that's kind of the point of this film, is like, yeah, man, just have fun with this. Like,
yeah, that's the whole point of Legos, is like, anybody and everybody can play with them.
Yeah, because, I mean, this is an entire world that he has created.
Yes.
Where now it's the post-apocalyptic Mad Max future. All these characters that you love in the first one, now they're the dark, gritty versions of themselves, except for Emmett. And they're like, Emmett, you gotta change, Emmett, you gotta change. And it becomes pretty clear, like, this is not a spoiler to come in here and say this. It becomes pretty clear in here, Emmett isn't really the one who needs to change. Emmett's doing pretty fine over here. Emmett being happy about things is not really a negative, people. Yeah, and I think that they really kind of convey that message really well in this. Every single message in here is done insanely well. Bill Lord is a genius when it comes to coming in here and coming up with really brilliant metaphors through really wacky concepts. But basically, this entire film, it is the Legos that you knew from the first one. They've now been taken to the Sistar system, which, yeah, again, it's like, it becomes obvious. The sister stole the brother's Legos. But then it becomes a journey for Emmett to go out there and try and save his friends. And along the way, he's like, oh shoot, well, I guess I do need to get edgier. I do need to get tougher. And he ends up meeting this guy. What was his name?
Rex something?
Rex Dangervest.
Yes, Dangervest.
Yes, Rex Dangervest, who really feels like, I mean, it becomes obvious early on, it's the same voice actor, and they do that because they want you to go, oh, this is like the hardcore, like, this is kind of the guy that Emmett wants to be.
Or like the guy that everyone wants Emmett to be. It's not necessarily what Emmett himself wants to be, but like when he sees his friends in trouble, it's like, maybe I do need to toughen up. And
yeah, so he basically meets the toughened up version of himself.
Yes.
Which they even like have a great joke in here at Chris Pratt's expense by the fact that he like trains raptors. And,
yeah,
I get what I see what you're doing here. Which in a weird way, I don't think that this was meant to be like a metaphor. Like I don't think this one was on purpose. This message, but it's another great message in this film that's kind of at Chris Pratt's expense, which is like, yeah, dude, Chris, you kind of started off being like a human golden retriever, and now you're trying to be action hero Harrison Ford. We don't want that. We like the human golden retriever again. It's like, it feels like that's what this kind of was. It was like, yeah, man, Chris Pratt, you kind of started off as Emmett, and now you're becoming more like Rex Dangervest.
Well, it's like they're giving him Rex Dangervest roles.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, yeah, we don't really, like, none of us... Like, if you ask any of us, which would we rather see you as again? Like, Star-Lord or what's-his-face from the Jurassic World franchise? We're all going with Star-Lord on this one, man. So, yeah, that was another thing that I just couldn't help but think all throughout this. But basically, this then becomes, like, the story of the two of them going out there and trying to save them from the Sistar system. And it just... This is the part of the review that gets really hard, because I don't know how to keep talking about this movie without exactly describing jokes.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take that away from anybody, because the jokes in here are really damn good. Again, this is Phil Lord. This is a guy who has pretty much a 100% success ratio with his jokes. But it is a lot of what you saw in the first film, where it's a lot of like, oh, it's this thing, it's that thing, it's that thing. But it never feels like they're just going, and it's this thing, everybody.
It's like a mention, but it's not like a forced mention.
Yeah, that was honestly kind of my feel. That was honestly why I wasn't as big a fan of Lego Batman as everyone else out there. I felt like that one was a lot of like, it's this character, and this character, and this character. And there were some good jokes in there about those characters, but I feel like many times in there it was also just like, it's this thing. And it's like, all right, yeah.
I understand, yeah.
I understand, yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, cool. Whereas in this one, I think that like all the jokes in here are actually really good. Like, you know, in the first film, you know, you had all the DC characters in there because DC owns Warner Brothers, and this is a Warner Brothers thing.
Or is it Warner Brothers that owns DC? Which one is it?
Sorry, yeah. DC ain't that big. Warner Brothers owns DC, and Warner Brothers is constantly looking over at DC like they're the original Aquaman and the Justice League. Like, are you still here? God damn it. All right. DC, Warner Brothers, if they didn't make money off of the movies, they would kick DC to the curb any day now. So yeah, you had all the Justice League in the first one. In this one, there's a moment in which the Justice League, like, they went off and they never returned from the Sistar system. And there's just a real quick joke in here about how it's like, well, now the Justice League is gone and Marvel isn't returning our calls, all the heroes are gone. Like, that is such a good small joke. And we all get it, and it's so good. That is such, like, that's one of the only jokes in here that I'll spoil. But it's like, it's that kind of sense of humor in here, where it's not just like, hey, everybody, Superman! It's like, yeah, Superman, and now here's a joke about Superman that we all understand. It's like, that's really freaking good. Okay, great. There's also a great joke in here about, like, the Batman movie. Like, Batman didn't go with the Justice League to go and stop them, and they come in here and say, where's Batman? He's having a solo adventure right now. It's like, we get that because we saw the movie there. I see what you did there. It's like, it's really smart stuff like that. They even make a joke about, like, why none of the characters from the Lego Batman movie are in this one. And they just, like, hold on Batman for a little while as he makes the joke, and I went, that is such, like, smart commentary on Batman in general, and that, like, one joke. It's amazing to me about how they're able to make such smart commentary about, like, every little thing that they put in this film. Trying to think of anything else. Also, the voice actors. God damn, it is amazing to me how they are able to get like so many big name people for such small roles in here.
But I was like, even the small roles have like a big importance, like have a big impact.
They have like at least a joke in there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not a waste of talent. But
yeah, like the smallest cameo they probably have in here is they've got a WNBA player and NBA player in here, and they don't really make much of a joke or anything, but they still like point out the fact that they're WNBA and NBA players.
Yes.
And that joke of like pointing it out that like, yeah, we got this totally random sports star to be in this film. Even that's kind of funny when they stop and point it out. Like, that's the most random cameo in this whole thing, and it still kind of works. But like, I know that like Ralph Fiennes was in the Lego Batman film as Alfred, and then Alfred pops up in here. I was like, that's definitely, they did not get Ralph Fiennes to come back to do 2 lines. I wonder who they got to do that. They got Ralph Fiennes to come back to do 2 lines. Which, granted, it's voiceover acting, and I know that you can actually just use a phone these days to do that. Like, there are actually, like, voice actor phones that they can just, like, pick up and like, all right, here's the 2 lines,
it's
done.
like, that's literally what the term phoned in comes from, so...
That's not where it comes from.
But yes, you know what I mean.
But yes, that actually is a totally different meaning. But yeah, I'm just shocked that they were able to do stuff like that, but there's other, like, man, there is a celebrity guest star in here that we will mention in the spoiler part, because I do not want to ruin it for anybody, but it was somebody that when they first popped up, I went, that's not really them. No way did that. Wow, it really is them. Okay, and they're coming back, and they're actually pretty good every time that they come back in here, which is a thing I have not been able to say about that particular actor in a long time. So yeah, I was just honestly stunned at this movie, at how much it was able to, even though it still kind of felt in many ways like the first film, it was able to still be really smart and really funny.
Yes, like this is how you do a sequel without, like, with having the same feeling as the first movie without feeling it rehashed, without having a rehashed plot.
Like, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Deadpool 2 a little bit, because I was like, well, the humor in Deadpool 2 is still about on that same level as Deadpool 1, but that shock value is gone now, so I'm kind of just listening to similar jokes again, and it's kind of died. It's kind of just, I'm kind of getting bored of this. Like, halfway through Deadpool 2, I was like, we can wrap this up. There, time now, Wade. All right, cool. This one, humor is still very much the same as in the first one, but they still surprised me with it. Mm-hmm. And it got smarter with what it did in, like, the metaphors and such. So that was able to elevate to a point where even if the humor was similar to the first film, it never fell flat to me. It still kind of, like, was able to keep rising everything up in here. Still, it is similar to a lot of the stuff that I saw in the first one. So it doesn't have like that wow factor anymore to me. So I'm gonna come in at like an 8.5 on this one.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I think, didn't we give the first one like a 9 or something?
I don't even know. Were we reviewing movies at that time? I don't think we were. We weren't.
Oh, but like,
we never reviewed.
All right, but like, if we did give I
definitely would have given it a 9.
Yes, same here, and I would definitely like give the sequel an 8.5 because even though it's great, the shock value is kind of gone. But you can't redo that. Yeah, and they did, and what they did with what they had was great.
Yes, exactly. Spoiler time in here. Even though we all know what this is a big metaphor for, they still put a twist in here in that you keep looking at this and the Sistar system like they're evil, and considering that they're like taking the toys away. Yeah, you kind of do look at it as like, well, you're stealing this kid's toys. I mean, yeah, we all know this kid is now going down the dark, gritty path that all teenagers do, and because he's going into post-apocalyptic Lego town. So maybe the kid's being a jerk, but you're stealing his Legos from him. Like, that's not a nice thing to do. But then, like, at the end, it gets revealed, like, no, we literally, like, we're not bad people. We literally just wanted to hang out with you. And this was the only way we could get you guys to come here. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And there is a great twist on that because at the beginning of this, when they first meet, Queen, whatever I want to be is what it's supposed to be.
Whatever I want to be is like, whatever Wanabe.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
Which her animation is great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because she's constantly changing into
like,
everything.
because that's literally her name. She can be whatever she wants to be.
She's constantly changing into stuff, yeah.
She's like basically like a blob of Legos that are constantly like shape-shifting.
Yeah, but not even like the little tiny detailed ones. It's the big chunky ones that like little kids have.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're able to change her around that much with the big chunky Legos was still impressive to me. But at the beginning when they first meet her, she sings a song about how she's not evil, but it sounds so evil. And then at the end of this, it's like, we literally sang you a song about how we're not evil. It's like, that was serious? And I was like, that is so smart. It is such a smart twist to just come in here and have the twist be, we weren't lying. We literally were telling you the truth this entire time. You, the audience, and the characters in here, you just assumed we were lying about this. Like, I've never seen a movie really do that. I've never seen a movie be, the twist is, there's no twist. And have it be successful. That's really damn smart. But at the end of this, they actually, like, store, the mom comes in, played by Maya Rudolph, who, by the way, Maya Rudolph is having, like, a resurgence in her career. She had a period of time when she just wasn't in anything. Now she is quickly becoming that person who's like, do we need somebody to show up and just do like a funny little cameo? Get Maya Rudolph. Like, she was great in The Good Place. I did not like at all that Life of the Party movie from last year. It was on our worst movies of the year. She was pretty good in it though. Like, she was the best thing in that film. This thing about Maya Rudolph, even if she's in something bad, she's still really good in it. But she pops up as the mom. She steps on a Lego, which I like that they had to finally make the joke about stepping on a Lego. Mm-hmm. They had to finally do it.
Eventually, it had to come around.
And yes, they did it, and it was great. But she forces the kids to take all the toys, all the Legos, and put them in storage.
Yes, because they wouldn't play nice together.
Yes. And at that moment, when they were all trapped in there, and it was like, no, this can't be how it ends. And it was just like fading out from that. And Emmett has been thrown under the dryer, which we've now learned that Rex Dangervest is literally Emmett from the future, which that's the only part of this in which I was a little bit weirded out by.
Yeah, it's like, how does that
time travel work and all? How does that work? But then the way they're able to save that is that later on, like, because what it is that it's Emmett who got thrown underneath the dryer. And no one came to rescue him. And he eventually got so mad at watching all of his friends move on and years going by of not being able to get out of there that he somehow gained the ability to move on his own in the real world. Which was like
another callback to the first one.
Yeah, that's true. But then he goes and he disassembles the TARDIS, the Bill and Ted's Time Machine, and the DeLorean.
Yeah, and the bicycle.
And from H.G. Wells. Yes. And forms them all into a time machine, and now he goes back in time. And I was looking at that, I was like, how the hell does time travel work in, like, these are still toys. You didn't, like, actually create time travel in this. But then there's the moment in which the two of them are fighting, and he has that moment in which he says, this isn't even real. This is all just a metaphor happening in the subconscious of a preteen kid. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant, because it's the one problem I had. Sorry, my voice just cracked there. That's the one problem I had. Just went through puberty at this film. Oh, God. The weather has been nuts, so my allergies have been going crazy, and my voice has been cracking. I'm surprised it hasn't happened up until this point. But that was the one problem I had with this movie. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense even by your own rules. And then they come in here and go, the rules of this is it's all fictional happening in someone's head, in someone's subconscious. Like, oh, okay, well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Now it makes total sense. That's, wow. You broke the fourth wall at the exact right second in here to make me go, that is the only time you could ever possibly call yourself out on this. Because also, it's him from the future, so past Emmett is like, I don't even know what that means. It's like, yeah, it doesn't change anything. It's not going to alter this entire series from now on. Like, yeah, that still absolutely works. But basically, at the end of this, like, Rex goes, okay, well, you clearly aren't going to be as hard as I am unless you go through what I did. So he throws him underneath the dryer as all of his friends are packed up into storage. and Emmett's now trapped under there. Like a spider crawls over him.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was kind of creepy.
I know, you're not a big fan
I'm not a big fan of spiders, yeah. I can deal with them as long as I kind of know they're coming. So that was so yeah, he's now trapped under there, and he's like, it's hopeless. And then the Legos are in the bin, and they're like, it's hopeless. And then it just says, the end. And I literally had a second which I went, oh my god, is this like the Empire Strikes Back of the Lego films? Like, do you have a third one planned? And this is the dark middle chapter that ends on a real downer note? Like, no way are you, like, I kept saying, no way you're doing this, no way you're doing this. But in the back of my head, I was like, oh my god, they're doing this. I bought it. Like, not since Toy Story 3 have I seen a really depressing moment in a kid's film that made me go, yeah, this is totally happening. This is actually exactly what's going to happen right now, and everything is doomed forever. Like, it has not been since Toy Story 3 since I was that into that moment that made me stop and go, yeah, the dark, horrible thing that they want us to think is happening, I actually believe is happening right now. But then, of course, that isn't what happens.
No.
But did you think that they were going to, like...
No. Okay. Because I know how the Lego movie is.
That's why I was really kind of shocked at it. Like, I actually thought that they were probably going to do it. We're petting the dog down here, by the way. But yeah, I was in that mode. Like, again, I kept saying, they're not doing this. It's a fake out, it's a fake out, it's a fake out. But there was that voice in the back of my head. Like, but what if it's not, man? What if this is actually happening?
Hey, Peach.
Yeah, you want to get up here, too.
Yes.
But then they sing, like, the sad, soulful remix of Everything is Awesome. And it gets them to, like, start playing together. Like, the two kids, they start playing together. And then they have the flashback to, like, the origin of Queen whatever Wanabe.
Yeah, and she was the heart that the brother made out of Legos to give to his little sister. And it's like...
That was so good. That was a great twist. And it makes you go back and look at Emmett at the very beginning. He makes a heart and hands it to the invading aliens. And again, that was another thing that I looked at. That was like, because as you're watching this, you're trying to figure out every metaphor as it comes along. And that was like the only metaphor that I couldn't really give. Like, well, if the brother doesn't want the sister, like, playing with him, then why is Emmett making this heart? And it's like, oh, the brother did at one point want her to play with him, and maybe she, like, wrecked something.
Yeah, it's like she was, like, very little, so I don't think she understood, like, how he plays.
Exactly, yeah.
So
it's like, that's something that I can understand.
Yeah, but, like, that after that, 5 years have passed, so of course she's grown up, and she's sort of, like, you know...
She's now building her own stuff.
Yes, but it's like she can play on his level, but he doesn't quite understand that.
He doesn't want to, because he's now like, I'm too mature for that. I'm the thing that we all do when we're dumb teenagers. We were all dumb teenagers, don't deny it.
Yeah.
And for anybody out there who is a teenager right now, give it like 10 years, you're going to look back at yourself right now and be like, oh shit, man, really? Wow. But yeah, and also, like he says, it can be whatever you want it to be, and then it makes you the Queen whatever one. Like, I knew that was her name to begin with, but, like, the fact that they gave it an origin was like, God, and it's, like, a very, like, heartfelt and touching origin, too. Man, I'm shocked that I'm only giving this an 8.5.
Yeah, it's like...
Honestly, I think that if, like, the first Lego movie never came out, and, like, I wasn't judging this against the impact that one had, I might even be giving this a higher score, but... Like... this is still a really damn good film.
Maybe like an 8.75?
8.7. Man, I used to do that. I used to not do the halves. I used to go, like, up to, like, an 8.8, and I was like, well, sometimes you just gotta do stuff like that. I was like, no, now I'm just being an ass. I'm pulling that one. You all know it's an 8.8. But yeah, I was honestly just really freaking still stunned by this film. Let's see, anything else in here? I will also say, I think that this replaces Buckaroo Banzai for my favorite ending credit sequence. The ending credit sequence in here is amazing, and
the song they sing, it's like...
The song... This franchise does such a good job at coming up with fake pop songs that make fun of pop songs, but are still really good pop songs.
This song's gonna get stuck inside you.
This song's gonna get stuck inside you.
head.
That's a good song. To quote Gravity Falls, top 40 songs are in the top 40 for a reason. Yeah, but the ending credits, it's not that song. It's a song about ending credits.
Yes, and they even mentioned like some of the names in the credits
as
the credits are being displayed.
I can't wait to see who's the DP, the director of photography.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's such a good joke in there. But also the credits, it's like a practical effects thing in which they have this giant Lego wheel turning around, and it's like an octagon, and every single time that turns around to a new side, there's something else that flings up there, another Lego construction that is a different credit that's going to roll. It's this is gorgeous to look at.
And it's even after that, they show pictures of kids and families and their Lego creations.
Of
and it's
siblings.
Yeah, siblings. And it's that is so sweet and cute, and this is what Lego is all about.
It's the reason why you can look at a movie like this and not just go, well, this is just shameless promotion for Legos. It's dude, toys are actually an important thing. No matter what you want to say about product placement and stuff, kids playing with toys is an important thing. And it actually, kids don't see it as, needless, commercialism. Kids see it as imagination and escapism and adventure and wonder and something to bond over. And this movie realizes exactly that. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the magic of the Lego films. Mm-hmm. At least the main Lego film.
Yes.
The magic of the Batman film was it's Batman, and I don't even know what the magic of Ninjago was.
It's Ninjago.
It was still father-son relations.
Yeah.
Between that, between the first Lego film, the Lego Batman film, and the Ninjago one, the Lego guys have got some daddy issues over there. But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up. This is still a really damn good film. Mm-hmm. I'm really impressed by it. I may have another P-Core coming up. I'm going to try and see if I can see. There's a really weird anime film that's coming out tomorrow that is getting amazing reviews. People say it's one of the sweetest, most touching anime films ever. But I'm not even going to say the name of it because it's such a weird name. So I'm going to see if I can get tickets to that. If I can't, then we will be back next week for...
How to Train Your Dragon 3?
Wait, that's next week?
Or is it the week after that?
No, that's the week after. Okay. There's something else next week.
All right.
There's something else that's a big release, though. Man, I remember back when February was another dump month. But then, Deadpool and Get Out have, absolutely changed that game. Now February is, a massive event. Mm-hmm. February is, summer part 1 now.
And it's you gotta take you gotta take your date some movies for Valentine's Day.
They always used to have that just be a cash grab. They're yeah, you have to come here. You have to go to the movies on Valentine's Day. We've got you. There's nothing you can do, so we can put out whatever shit we want. It's oh, now you actually have to try.
Yes.
Movie studios, oddly enough, have actually finally realized people will pay to see movies at times other than summer.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
In fact, they'll probably even pay more to see movies outside of summer because if you cram every movie into summer, they're going to have to choose on certain weekends what movies they end up seeing. That's always bugged me whenever I hear critics say, guess what, people can actually see multiple movies on a weekend. No, they can't. Some people only have the time to go and see one movie on a weekend. Some people only have the money to go and see one movie on a weekend. That to me is one of the most entitled, spoiled, movie critic things I've ever heard. It's something that so many people say oh, you can put them both out on the same weekend because guess what, people can see multiple movies in a weekend. No, you can, because you get free screenings of this shit. Most people have to schedule a specific time with their family. It costs them $60-$70 to take their entire family to the movies. They get one film a weekend at most. That is it. Yeah, man, spread this shit out. More weekends, more time. How did it take us so long to figure this out? It's always bugged me about that. All right. Anyway, bye everyone. Come back tomorrow.
Yes, bye.
Not tomorrow. Next weekend. Whatever.
Yes, whatever.
Bye.
Bye. And remember, everything is awesome.
Yay.